Narcissistic relationships are uniquely damaging, leaving profound emotional and psychological scars that extend far beyond the breakup. Understanding the nature of these relationships, their impact, and the challenges associated with healing can provide valuable insights for those navigating recovery. One critical aspect of this process is grappling with a unique form of FOMO, fear of not trying everything, or FONT, which significantly affects individuals involved in such relationships. FOMO, or fear of missing out, is a widely recognized phenomenon that describes the anxiety people feel when they believe they are missing out on exciting or enjoyable experiences. This fear often drives people to engage in activities or attend events despite their actual disinterest, simply to avoid feeling left out. However, in the context of narcissistic relationships, this fear evolves into something more insidious: FONT, or fear of not trying everything. Unlike general FOMO, which pertains to external experiences, FONT is about the internal struggle of not having done enough to salvage a failing relationship. The dynamics of narcissistic relationships typically begin with intense affection and attention, known as love bombing. This initial phase creates a strong emotional bond and an illusion of a perfect relationship. However, over time, the narcissist begins to devalue their partner, alternating between periods of affection and cruelty. This behavior creates a confusing and unstable environment, leading the partner to question their perceptions and self-worth. As the relationship deteriorates, the partner becomes obsessed with making things work, often blaming themselves for the issues and exhausting themselves in attempts to restore the initial affection. This obsession is a direct manifestation of FONT, where the individual fears not having tried everything possible to fix the relationship. The psychological impact of narcissistic relationships is profound. One of the most significant consequences is the erosion of self-trust. The constant gaslighting and manipulation typical of narcissistic abuse undermine an individual's confidence in their own perceptions and judgments. This self-doubt can extend beyond the relationship, affecting one's ability to trust others and navigate new relationships. Additionally, the grief experienced after ending a narcissistic relationship is often intense and complex. The partner mourns not only the loss of the relationship, but also the years spent in manipulation and deceit, compounded by the pervasive fear of not having done enough. Forgiveness in the context of narcissistic relationships presents its own set of challenges. The concept of forgiveness can feel particularly problematic when the narcissist appears to escape accountability for their actions. Forgiveness, in this context, may seem like permission for continued bad behavior. Narcissists often do not face real consequences for their actions, which makes it even more difficult to forgive them. The lack of accountability can create a sense of injustice, where the victim is expected to forgive despite the narcissist's continued harmful behavior. The idea of consequences plays a significant role in understanding the difficulty of forgiveness. If narcissists faced real repercussions for their actions, such as losing a job or facing legal consequences, it might lead to behavioral changes. However, since they often escape such consequences, they may become more emboldened and continue their harmful behavior. When narcissists do face consequences, even if infrequently, it can sometimes make forgiveness easier for the victim. It provides a sense of justice or closure, though it does not erase the harm done. Healing from narcissistic abuse is notably complex and distinct from recovering from a typical breakup. The abuse leaves deep psychological scars, and the recovery process involves addressing these wounds through therapy, self-compassion, and support from others. The external pressure to move on or get over it, often expressed through well-meaning advice from friends and family, can be particularly challenging. This pressure might come in the form of suggestions to distract oneself, forgive quickly, or pursue new relationships. However, such advice may not address the deeper issues caused by narcissistic abuse. Self-compassion and setting boundaries are critical components of recovery. Recognizing that healing from narcissistic abuse is a lengthy and challenging process is essential. It is important to allow oneself the time and space to heal without rushing the process. Establishing clear boundaries with narcissists, and potentially with those who may not fully understand the depth of the trauma, helps protect one's mental health and prevent further manipulation. Narcissistic relationships present unique challenges that go far beyond the conventional heartbreak associated with typical romantic breakups. The nature of narcissistic abuse involves a specific type of emotional trauma that can deeply affect one's self-perception and ability to trust, creating a form of psychological damage that is both severe and enduring. Understanding the profound differences between the pain of a standard breakup and the trauma resulting from narcissistic abuse is crucial for effective healing. A standard broken heart, while undeniably painful, often follows a more predictable trajectory. Healing from such a breakup involves a process of mourning, time, and gradual recovery, typically spanning a few weeks to a few months. During this period, individuals might experience sadness, loss, and longing, but they often find solace in the support of friends and the passage of time. There can even be a sense of eventual gratitude for the personal growth that the experience engendered. However, this healing timeline is starkly different for those recovering from narcissistic abuse. The pain inflicted by narcissistic relationships is not merely different in degree, but in kind. Comparing a typical heartbreak to the aftermath of narcissistic abuse is akin to contrasting a paper cut with a severed limb. The emotional injury from narcissistic abuse is profound, affecting one's ability to trust oneself and others, and often leaves enduring scars that impact one's self-worth and perception of reality. The healing process is not a linear journey, but rather a complex, protracted battle involving deep emotional and psychological work. Unlike the more straightforward path to recovery from a typical breakup, healing from narcissistic abuse can be an extended and intricate process. The psychological impact includes severe erosion of self-trust and a pervasive sense of hypervigilance, constantly being on edge and waiting for the next emotional blow. This state of perpetual uncertainty can result in chronic self-doubt and difficulty in reconciling one's reality, making the recovery process exceedingly challenging. During recovery, the well-meaning advice often encountered can be inadequately supportive. While gifts like essential oils or advice on forgiveness and moving on might be well-intentioned, they may fail to address the deep-seated trauma of narcissistic abuse. Such advice can sometimes exacerbate feelings of inadequacy or self-doubt, as they do not account for the profound and complex nature of the healing required. The superficial remedies provided by well-meaning individuals can feel invalidating and can unintentionally pressure individuals to move on prematurely, which only compounds the internal struggle. The pressure to adhere to a fixed timeline for recovery is another obstacle faced by survivors. Suggestions to seek therapy immediately or to move on after a set period do not recognize the unique and prolonged nature of healing from narcissistic abuse. The extent of the trauma is often proportional to the length and intensity of the relationship, meaning that the more severe the abuse, the longer the healing process may take. Survivors may encounter individuals who do not understand the depth of their suffering, resulting in unhelpful or intrusive advice. Such micromanagement of the healing process can be detrimental, leaving survivors feeling misunderstood and pressured to conform to arbitrary timelines. In cases where narcissistic abuse comes from a familial relationship, such as with a narcissistic parent, the healing process is further complicated. The dynamics of family relationships often involve additional layers of pressure and expectations from other family members. These individuals might push for quick forgiveness or reconciliation, sometimes driven by a desire to maintain family harmony or deny the reality of the abuse. Such pressures can undermine the survivor's healing journey, making it even more essential for individuals to set firm boundaries and prioritize their own recovery over familial expectations. A critical aspect of healing from narcissistic abuse involves moving beyond intellectual understanding to emotional processing. Survivors often engage in extensive analysis of their experiences, decoding texts, reflecting on past interactions, and trying to understand the narcissist's behavior. While this intellectual approach can be helpful, it is not sufficient for complete healing. Genuine recovery requires confronting and processing the intense emotions elicited by the abuse: anger, sadness, anxiety, and frustration. These emotions are not merely cognitive, they're felt deeply in the body and must be allowed to be experienced fully. Feelings of overwhelming sadness, anger, or frustration are natural and necessary parts of the healing process. They should be met with acceptance rather than avoidance. Embracing these emotions, even though they may feel destabilizing, is crucial for moving through the pain and eventually finding relief. The challenge lies in resisting the urge to intellectualize or rationalize these feelings away and instead allowing oneself to fully experience and process them. Effective healing involves creating safe spaces for emotional expression. This might include finding moments to cry, scream, or engage in creative outlets that allow emotions to be expressed constructively. Physical activities, such as exercise, or creative endeavors like painting or writing, can serve as valuable tools for processing and releasing emotions. This approach allows survivors to begin reclaiming their sense of self and rebuilding their lives in a way that acknowledges and integrates their experiences of trauma. In summary, the journey to healing from narcissistic abuse is a profound and intricate process that requires more than just time or superficial remedies. It demands a deep, emotional reckoning with the trauma inflicted by the narcissist and the development of a renewed sense of self. Healing from narcissistic abuse involves navigating complex emotions, resisting pressure to conform to external timelines, and engaging in a process of emotional and psychological reconstruction. It is a path that requires patience, self-compassion, and understanding, both from oneself and from those around them. The best support one can receive during this time is validation, patience, and a recognition of the unique and significant nature of the healing journey. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who needs to see it, and subscribe to the channel for more content on narcissistic abuse recovery. As always, thank you for watching, and until next time, stay blessed and irresistible.